stock, and this Texas A&M defense is skyrocketing, and it is skyrocketing quickly. Back-to-back phenomenal performances from that unit. Howdy, howdy, fans of the 12th Man. Welcome into this post-game Above the Yell episode. I am your host, Weston Pope. It's a beautiful evening at Kyle Field, sold-out crowd for Blackout. And what can be said? A&M coming off a big-time victory against Mississippi State. Final score 31-9. Guys, once again, I got to say thank you. Thank you for the support that you have shown me for every episode, every like, every comment. I can't say it enough. Thank you for supporting this channel. I'm humbled and I'm thankful for the opportunity to chase my dream and talk about something that I love. Please like and subscribe, comment on the channel as I plan to keep this thing rolling. I am extremely motivated and just loving covering this A&M team, which is something I've done for a long time, but being able to actually publish my thoughts and my opinions, it's been an awesome experience. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. You won't find me complaining about a win, especially with the way that A&M found a way to win tonight, no matter how it's done. Lots of things to love from this A&M team, from this squad tonight. As usual, we'll talk about that. We'll break it all down here, share my thoughts and opinions. Third down, it's been a big talking point, been a big emphasis for me, something I've been looking for improvement on. Third down efficiency tonight was much improved. A&M on third down tonight was 7 of 14, so 50%. I believe that might be, besides the UTSA and Utah State game, that might be their first night or first game against the Power 5 or Power 4 opponent, that they have had a 50% or better third down efficiency percentage. So much improved there. The rushing attack came alive and is continuing, I believe, to take shape into what we as fans and even as other analysts thought that this A&M team would be. Going into the season, we thought that A&M would be a run-first team, and tonight's game and last game against Auburn, that running game has come alive off the backs of Le'Veon Moss and Reuben Owens. Reuben Owens had him a phenomenal night tonight, as Le'Veon Moss looked to be a little banged up. We'll wait to see what the status of that is. So he didn't get to play a lot in the second half. But, man, rushing A&M total in the night had 299 yards rushing, 180 yards passing. And, yeah, Marcel Reed, he was able to – he was very shaky there in the first half. I believe he went 3 of 10 passing there in the first half, which, based off my memory, is probably his worst half of football that he has had. But then in the second half, he was lights out. Marcel was able to complete 10 of his 13 passes there in the second half. Seems like he got more comfortable, more confident with his throws. That was the biggest thing that I noticed in the first half, was that Marcel just was unsure. He wasn't sure of where he was throwing the ball. One of his throws, he was trying to get it to 17 tight end Theo Mellon-Orstrom. Ended up in an interception. It was just a wonky throw. It wasn't a lot of confidence behind it. And yeah, that was just kind of I think that was basically the summary or the gist of the first half for Marcel, but he was able to turn it on in the second half, essentially when they needed it most. It just took a little bit to get going. And what's interesting to me about this offense and the last two games that we've seen from them against Auburn and tonight against Mississippi State is the timing of this offense, the way that it is moving. Right now it's moving in the direction, as I said, that we thought it would, where it'd be run first, that the rushing attack would be their strong suit. And it has been. It was tonight and it was against Auburn. And when I say timing, it's interesting timing. This may just be this may not have any relevance. This is just my observation, but it seems like it really has come alive right as we enter into SEC play. And as the season goes on, this is something to keep an eye on. As the season progresses, if A&M is able to wear down teams with their rushing attack, when we get later and teams are tired and they're beat up, they're sore, and it's just kind of that last quarter of the season drag where you really find out what you're made of. If A&M is able to consistently do what they've been doing and do that in that later quarter of the season, it could prove to be really special and really dangerous. Defense, lights out. Once again, all game, phenomenal performance from the defense. Mississippi State held to 9 points tonight. This is a Mississippi State team that was averaging 38 points a game coming into this one. I know they played a couple inferior opponents, but those were also games against Tennessee and Arizona State. So, yeah, just a phenomenal night for defense, plain and simple. The leadership on that side of the ball in Torian York is really starting to show. Guys are just swarming all over the field. Very impressive outing once again. To just show how impressive that was, listen to this stat. A&M has held the last two opposing teams, Auburn and Mississippi State, to 1 of 23 on third down. I believe we're going to deem the name here on this Above the L podcast. We're going to call that the Mike Money Down. Mike Elko is known for his third down defense. He's known for scheming it up. He talked about it last week about the way he studied third downs for defenses, and it's been brilliant. It's been just portrayed. It's been highlighted for the last two games, and that's an insane stat, and I think it's worth talking about and worth mentioning. So that is the Mike Money Down, third down, and it's showing. Another thing, penalties there in the first half, pretty rough. It was looking rough anyways. Here's another crazy stat, 7 penalties in the first half, only 2 penalties in the second half. So going into halftime has proved to be favorable for this A&M football team. Another thing that I'm keeping an eye on, we know that when Mike Elko was here at A&M as a defensive coordinator, he was able to make those halftime adjustments, but now not only are we seeing the defensive halftime adjustments, but we're seeing the entire team adjust and kind of play sharper. I mean, it's no secret that tonight, that second half was drastically different. It was a night and day difference compared to that first half. A&M found a way to turn it on. The defense, A&M's defense held out long enough to give them capability and the ability to do that. It felt like one of these offenses was going to break loose. Thankfully, it was A&M's. Mississippi State just took a while to get going. Our defense was just snuffing them out. And, yeah, A&M was able to finally find some rhythm offensively. And, yeah, it was just a great night for the Texas A&M Aggies as they move to 5-0 on the season. Total yards for tonight, 479 yards. And for those of us who watched the game, it felt like a lackluster performance. I think we got a little bit spoiled there in the first 3 games of the season. Obviously, we had the roller coaster game of Notre Dame, and I think that obviously set the bar a little high for what this offense can do. And I'm not going to say that tonight was a wash. Obviously, tonight there was a lot of success, a lot of things to be happy about, also a lot of things to improve on. But I think offensively, they continue to find ways to win. They settle in, takes a little bit. I would like to see some improvement, like to see them start faster and get into rhythm faster. Obviously, that first half, there were 7 penalties, most of those on offense. So it's, once again, hard to get in that rhythm when you have those penalties. But overall, good night. And despite A&M playing what I think is their worst half of football offensively there in the first half, there's a lot of room for optimism. We still haven't seen A&M play a complete 4-quarter game, which is exciting to me because whenever that game comes, and hopefully it comes at the time that it needs to, if A&M can put together a full 4-quarter performance, firing on all cylinders, this team, I believe, could be one of the best, simply. I mean, it could get real scary real quick. And but, yeah, they haven't put together a full 4-quarter performance. So, to me, that's something to be happy about because they've won these games. They've managed to get to 5-0, and we haven't even seen their best performance. So, reason for optimism. What I liked there in the first half for A&M, the offense was struggling there on the first 2 drives. And what do you do for a struggling offense? You run the ball, and that's exactly what A&M did. Loved their response. They were able to run the ball all the way inside the 1-yard line. They were threatening to score. Reuben Owens came up just short of a touchdown. They were at the half-yard line. I really thought they could have punched it in. I was hopeful, but they got stopped. Turnover on downs. Mississippi State gets the ball. And 5-6 years ago, my old self would have definitely argued with what I'm about to say. It's just a question. What happened to just lining up in the I formation with your biggest package, your biggest guys, and just trying to punch the ball in? It to me, lining up in the shotgun, you're already at a disadvantage because it just takes a little bit extra time for the play to develop, for the run to develop, and you're asking your guys to block, I think, possibly a little longer. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an offensive mastermind, but just I thought in that opportunity, get your big guys in, line up in the eye, and just punch it in. I think that sets you up for better success than trying to run it out of the shotgun. Obviously, observation, opinion of mine. Love to hear what you guys think about that. Yeah, going back to third down real quickly. Despite the improvement on third down tonight, being able to convert 50% of their third downs, which will always take that. Could be a lot better, could be improved. A&M has to find a way to keep themselves out of those third and long situations. Some of those came off penalties. Some of those came off of even plays that were ran leading up to third down. There were a couple times where A&M would get into a first down opportunity. They'd get into 1st and 10, and it would be a passing down, which I don't disagree with, but A&M would get 1st and 10 pass, and pass would either be off or wouldn't be an open guy. So then you're looking at 2nd and 10. Okay, then 2nd and 10, you're looking at most likely a running down, run the ball, and this of course in the first half, not the second half. Second half was a totally different story. First half, they go to run the ball, they get 2-3 yards, and then you're looking at a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, and then obviously it's a passing down, it's a passing situation. You're putting more pressure on your offense, you're putting more pressure on your quarterback. So I think simply, I guess where I would start is try to set yourself up for higher percentage plays in 1st and 2nd down. And then if you get to 3rd down, try to make it more manageable. And I'm sure coaches try to do that. I'm sure that's probably their intention anyways. Obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into that, a lot of external things. So, but that's simply just my observation. Coming out of halftime, getting into the second half, A&M gets the ball, runs 3 plays for -2 yards, forced to punt. Once again, a little bit of a slow start there in the second half. A&M gets the ball. They force Mississippi State to punt. A&M gets the ball for their second offensive drive in the second half. They run 7 plays for 40 yards. That ends in another punt. Finally, A&M, they broke through late in the third quarter with a 42-yard pass to Super Mario Craver, and sets them up for a 2-yard touchdown to Concepcion. I feel like that touchdown pass is kind of where we really saw Marcel settle in a little bit. He had a really nice throw. Some people will overlook it. I think they'll see, oh, it was just a 2-yard slant touchdown back of the end zone. What I noticed was that it was a good pass because the linebackers, they didn't bite, they didn't move up to stop the run. They kind of sat back a little bit, sat in their area, sat in their positions, and Reed was just able to throw the ball a little high, throw it over the top of them where they couldn't go up and get it. And Concepcion, jump ball, went up and got it, came down, touchdown. Really like that from Reed. And then obviously, I don't know that enough can be said about Concepcion and Mario Craver. They're both extremely talented. Their ability to stay on their feet, find the open spots in the field, and then just after the catch, their ability to gain yards after the catch is phenomenal. It's something that to me is just unreal. So yeah, I can't say enough about those guys. The Reed option with Marcel Reed finally made its return tonight to Kyle Field. Really the first time that we've truly seen that since the blackout game last year against LSU when Reed came in and ignited the offense. So yeah, Reed option makes a return. Dalton Brooks, what a funny play there in the second half. A&M was able to win the turnover battle on the night. Mississippi State had 2, A&M had the 1. So always good to be in the positive there. But yeah, awesome, phenomenal night for the defense. And then near midway through the fourth quarter, Mississippi State only had 26 total yards in the second half. And this, like I said, this is a Mississippi State team that was averaging 38 points a game, and that was all before this matchup. So much to digest, so much to review, and for right now, I'm going to enjoy this win, dissect it as the week goes on, and then prepare for another good matchup next weekend against an inspired Florida team coming off a big win there in the swamp against the Texas Longhorns. So that's what I got for you guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, I know this episode was a little bit longer, so if you made it this far, thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your support. Please continue to show your support by liking, subscribing, commenting. Always love to interact with you guys. And as always, gig 'em and God bless.